The Underground. World News Live. Here on this 11025. Good evening. I hope all is well. Get a mic check out the gate. Yes, we start the show with music. For some people in the chat that were saying sound, but just music. Yep, just getting started. Much love to all the mods. Crown Jewels in the house. Deanne Quantum. Good to see the judge. Judge Britt, thank you for the feedback. E. Fitz. My knights out there. Hoodie Ross. D. White. Tooch. Kev Bar. Tacos. Thank you for sharing the stream. I appreciate it to the fullest. And thank all of you. Christ is King. Ian. Bloodbot. Everybody for the feedback. Pixie with us. Gabe. Man, Jenny. Via. Fierce. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Thank you, Flip. Thank you, Lakeville, for all the memberships. For everyone that received them, welcome to the Underground. Appreciate it to the fullest, Flip. Happy 2025. Thank you. Josh Olson. Hey, got a lot to cover, man. Hyped as always. Turn down some of this background music in case any coffees come through. And let me, got that right, Port Decay, Christ is King. I'm going to start us off here real quick with an update out of space before we dive into the super heavy stuff. We got another comet that's out there. For those that like to see these things or keep track of them, we got another one in the sky that's visible. And it, too, is going by the name of Atlas, but this was numbered C2024 G3. Right now, it's falling toward the sun. It's going to have its closest encounter on January 13th when it comes into perigee, and it may not survive. It may or may not. We've seen comets in the past disintegrate just trying to go around the sun. Some of them end up diving into the sun and all that. We've seen some come out the other side flaring real big and beautiful. That's what you always hope for, to see an awesome show in the heavens. That's where they flare up the best. If they can survive this encounter, they can put on a good show. But I don't know if that's going to happen. We're just going to have to wait and see. But just want to let folks know it is visible in the sky. If you've got a telescope, you can pop in to any of your apps, Comet Atlas C2024 G3. In the sun, turning rather blank for being at the top of a sun cycle. Sun cycle 25 right now, solar cycle 25. Here at Solar Max, I will say it has spit off some X flares. We've seen some last week. But, hey, the less chance of any CME, the less chance of a solar storm, the less chance of a solar storm, the less chance of a Carrington type of event that could take down our grid. All right. Daylight savings. A quick win on that. A lot of people were complaining about it and don't like it and would rather things just stay the same. Well, now they have introduced a lock the clock bill to make daylight savings time permanent. So, that's going into motion. And a quick market update. It's every week somebody else is saying this. And here we go again. More news that we're walking into a recession, blah, blah, blah. We've been in a recession. We're like teetering on the edge of depression if some big events go down. And Trump seems to know that he's walking into this mess. I had a vision that it was all going to crash on his watch. I really think it's going to go down. All the signs are pointing that way. Not just because that's what I've seen, but I mean, just all the little things that I read on and I pick up on. It looks like it's going to go down here on his watch. A reduction here of somewhere between 60 and 90% is what they're talking about in the markets. in this pullback. So that's a pretty big pullback. And I mean, 90% is almost a full-blown crash. You might as well say. The 10% that's not counted is probably the 10% that didn't take a loss, which are the guys taking all your money. Because money don't just disappear. Markets don't just crash for no reason. There is an exchange of wealth, a massive one. And there's another one coming around the corner. I'm telling you, everyone's got their money sitting in their 401ks. And if you're a huge criminal out there, I'm talking global scale, cartel, worldwide, you know how they do. They control all these different avenues. And they're always conjuring up schemes to attack us. So imagine they're sitting there and they're plotting. You know, we want to get everybody's money, man. What is the best way to steal everyone's money? I'm talking their wealth, their savings. You can't go breaking in every bank and doing this and that's going to be like damn near impossible. Is it? Is it really? I don't think it is. I think that if they're all funneled into a market that we can control and manipulate, as long as we get it there, we get all their money there, we can get it all. You know, we could somehow convince them to put all their money in, say, I don't know, 401k and tie it into the markets. Then us holding the majority of the shares of all of these things that they own, and they buy all these stocks and these shares because they get shilled out there. I mean, this is all done on purpose. So look, they dump in mass. And what they do when they dump is they take all the profits off the top. And they do it just in every sector that you can think of. Every single thing that's out there gets sold. You think that that's what Warren Buffett's seen coming? Knows it's coming? I'd say so. I'm going to touch more on that here in just a second, but when I get into the Trump stuff. But here's one on sugary drinks. I keep telling you got to give them up. You got to give these diabetes drinks, these disease drinks up. Mountain Dews, the Pops. I'll never forget one day I was just sitting there. I was thinking of all these things. They were like, oh, you can take Coca-Cola and you can clean this out with it. And I'm like, you can use it to clean something out? Like I'm sitting there looking at the cans like, man, what, for real, what is this? This toxic concoction in a can. They put a pretty label on. And when I started pouring it out, I just couldn't believe I had been consuming something. I'm like, this isn't natural. It doesn't come from any natural plant like oranges or apples or anything like that. Or not made up like a tea. Nope. It's 100% chemical concoction. And sugar is what drives most of the disease. You know, it fuels the cancer. If you cut this out, you eliminate the chances of this latching on and taking effect like any disease. But another study showing that all these sugary drinks are linked to millions of new diabetes and heart diseases. So it's becoming pretty factual. You know, it's one thing to have a treat here or there of something, but I really believe that it's on us to change everything. When you're younger and you're greener, you fail to see all these things. The older you get, the more you start to open your eyes to some of these things because it's just the way it goes. If you can, by chance, do these things when you're younger, it will benefit you greatly and you'll live a lot better life. You know, there's all types of temptation out there every day for all of us. We're all tempted by things, but these sweets, candies, sugars, to me, in my life, it's in terms of things like this, it's next on the chopping block. I'm going to eradicate anything and everything to where I don't even have, not even the slightest thing that has any of these sugars, any processed stuff whatsoever. I started with Pops years ago, Mountain Dews and all that. Moved on to cigarettes and then energy drinks and then pork and things like that. And then also cutting out all the bioengineered products the best you can. I mean, they'll switch it up on you all the time, so you got to be paying attention. You got to kind of just remember who's guilty of doing it. But there's a lot of products on the shelf now that you flip it up and look, and it says contained a bioengineered product. If you care or not, I'd like to get to a point to where I wish there was a store, full scale, that operated like that. Luckily, some of the stores, like the bigger stores around, have aisles that have things that don't have this in them. You know, your all-natural aisles and stuff like that. But we need, like, full-blown stores. If you ask me, instead of dollar stores popping up all over the place that just contain more of this stuff. You think somebody's trying to kill you? I do. En masse. When you see the bigger picture, it's rather obvious. Let's look at jobs real quick. We got 200,000 Wall Street jobs at risk. That's just in Wall Street. You might not care about it. Meh. Who cares? Whatever. Well, look at the reason. The reason is because they're saying agentic AI is becoming a major breakthrough. Okay? And according to this new Bloomberg intelligence survey, 92 global banks involved, the industry could shed hundreds of thousands of jobs over the next 3 to 5 years. That is very soon. That is very quick. That's transforming all this by 2030 for sure. It's wiping out jobs in the sector en masse, and they're all going to AI. To AI. This artificial intelligence that they can access through any computer. It's not like they need a bunch of different setups. One big AI setup can run a whole factory, a whole job. It can oversee everything, all the robots, all the everything that's in there. It can effectively be the manager of all the robots that are coming in there, and oversee the operations of the whole place, which is scary because this runs right down the line. This is where the humans are in factories right now, all across America. It's the only job they got, doing whatever it is. Well, this is going to start skipping from industry to industry like wildfire. It's spreading quickly. This isn't good. This is going to wipe out people's jobs that didn't even see it coming. You know, say you run a machine somewhere in a shop. You run a couple. All of a sudden they bring in AI. They find out in this meeting they can run this program that they just hook all the machines up with a little device. They can connect them all, and the AI can oversee all of it. And if something's needed, it can do it. You're not needed no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this is going to happen all over in this simplistic way. That there's going to be your replacement's here. It's scary. It's here. It's AI. It's this artificial intelligence, as they call it. Man, I'm telling you, they're messing with the beast consciousness. Anyhow, AI wiping jobs out for what it's worth. Thank you, Ike, for the super chat. Let's take a quick look across the country at who owns all the guns to protect this place real quick. You can see the darkest colors is where the heaviest gun ownership is. You're talking up in Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, places like that. And you can see out west, I mean, California stands out big as being a place that doesn't have a lot. Out here in the Midwest, Illinois sticks out like that. And then on the East Coast, you've got, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, got a lot of areas like that. But, yeah. Guns all across the nation. That's how I like it. We're going to dive into what's going on in California here with these fires. A false alert sent out live on the news, and we'll play this clip here so you guys can see what happened here with this alert.
We're just mapping out here are under mandatory evacuations, and obviously you can hear all of our phones are going off some type of alert, an evacuation warning. It looks like.
Yeah, my alert reads, This is an emergency message from the LA County Fire Department. An evacuation warning has been issued in your area.
Yeah.
This is what this looks like.
Remain vigilant of any threats and be ready to evacuate. Gather loved ones, pets, and supplies. Continue to monitor local weather news and the webpage alertla.org for more information.
Yeah, so these alerts come, based on where you are.
Looks like on my phone.
Yeah, and here we are in West LA, and we're getting an alert. We'll have to look into why. It would not be from what we're talking about right here up to the north.
So they seem to catch it
We're
right
just mapping
there that something was wrong.
Well, a top story today from the Gateway
That
pundit.
they shouldn't have been getting those alerts right there for that area. So it was a false alarm that was put out. So I mean, these things do happen, but I mean, with all this going on, why and who sent this out, we don't know. But it went out through Fox LA to all the Los Angeles residents. So all the people watching got freaked. And you talk about getting people geeked and trying to get the whole city of Los Angeles up and out of there. Like, have you seen what the highway looks like just to around Christmas and stuff like that when they show shots of it? Like people heading out for Christmas, it's like jam-packed. It's like a 5-hour wait or something stupid. Like, I don't know how you ever plan to get out of there. Part of your game plan, if you live in LA for an emergency, has got to be you own a helicopter. If you got the money to be living down there, you better be having the right setup and a way out, because I ain't getting caught in that traffic. No way. But people are. And some of the highways have been shut down from this. It's not just the fire, but the smoke, man, is crippling. It's toxic. And the Santa Susana site was having the fire creep up on it. I was putting out warnings and alerts because this is a site where they tested all types of toxic products in the past. And when the area burns, it releases all those elements into the air. And people downwind, they don't know what they're getting hit with. So this is still on the table, man, until these fires are completely out. I just want people to know, if you can steer clear of the smoke, do it. I wouldn't be going near it for nothing, because in it, I'm telling you, is all these toxins. It's not good, period. Now, let's get an update on what's going on here, man. Officially, 10 dead, 10,000 structures burned in Los Angeles as the fires continue to destroy everything in its path. So many different people's had their homes just wiped out. And tonight, I've seen many different stars. Obviously, this is hitting in the Hollywood Hills, Santa Monica, Malibu areas, stuff like that. I've seen a lot of the stars, so to speak, saying the same thing. They're not holding it back, that they feel like this was done on purpose. It's pretty crazy. show you a map here, and I'm going to touch more on that here in just a second. You can see we've got multiple active fires here spread out in the area. Let me go down here to some of these other updates because we got some key updates on all of them here. Okay, so they're saying National Guard has been seen in the area. I've tweeted out stuff on this earlier today. This is true. I think we got another article on that as well, but there you go. National Guard seen in the Palisades. Now, this is the critical thing. Why are the National Guard there? Right? Why? Why are they there? Okay? This is where it starts to get crazy. And Colleen, thank you for those coffees. I appreciate it to the fullest. I just tweeted out or posted on X a post about what they're doing. Okay? And this isn't even right. This shows you, man, it's an op. This is a massive op. Pulled up here on the screen. All right, here we go. So what do we have here? Look at this. You have the military stopping people, National Guard, and telling people, papers, please, basically. Let me see who you are. We're going to allow you to go in one time and collect whatever you can one time, suggesting to make sure they grab everything they need because they may never go back again. All these people freaking out, like, what are you kidding me? There's no even fire here at this point, like right here. You can see there's no smoke, like immediately in the air, no ravaging fire. They have wire up, razor wire, to stop people from getting through a barricade, from people to even get into their homes. And if they're allowed to go one time. And look, I understand security because people are looting homes, this and that, but to allow people to only go in one time is crazy. This raises concerns, man. You've got to watch how things are put into motion. I said the same thing about how they're going after all these illegals. Trump's starting this big war, right? They have strike teams going out to find illegals in all these warehouses and all these cities in all these places across the country. But then they drop the bird flu. That twists real quick, and all them strike teams are rounding up anyone that's not inoculated. And this is the real deal. You've got to watch things that are getting set up like that. And here we go. These fires roll in, strategic. All this done, just everything is just, we take a step back and look at it. It's been done to the advantage of a few. And it's wiped out the homes and the properties and the wealth of many. Especially with the whole thing of people not having coverage and things like that. Although California tried to come out today and say that they were putting a freeze from here on of any insurance company that wants to drop someone on fire-related stuff. And it's like, hold on. What do you mean? From today forward. Like, hold on. Like, that it's a little too late now, don't you think? Like, I mean, yeah, that'll help for future fires, but what about everybody that just got wiped out? This is highly suspect, man. Again, it's papers, please. And the fire's not even there. These are things you've got to watch. Where were these National Guard troops, like, to help people get out of these fire zones and things like that? We've seen people running out of the fire zone with their horses and all this other stuff. Where were they to help people do that? Instead, they're being used in a militarized style here on the citizens that are just trying to get back into their house. It's I don't know. I don't like never seeing that. No one should, I guess. Let me see here real quick. All right, here we go. I just might as well say it right now and get it out of the way. Okay? Oh, Huey Dewey is in town here. And left signs all over the place. You know, like cars melted down. Here's one of them. You got vehicles that are like melted down in the street, all over the place. And a highly combustible telephone
Check this
pole.
out. This was part of the car. Turned into liquid.
In the trees right there next to it, still standing. Okay?
Then it just
Look at all the
hardened.
leaves. Look at all the full vegetation back here. And people are like, hold on. Some people are like, well, it's green. It's not going to burn. Well, dude, like, hold up a second. Yes, it does burn at high temperatures. It is a combustible material. It is wood. And yes, it will burn. I've done shown you clips, like out of James Woods' house, the bushes out of his neighbor's house. All of it was burning up. Okay, it will burn. It will definitely burn. Okay, at the right temperature. You're telling me a heat hot enough to melt a car isn't going to burn a tree? How about the telephone poles that are sitting here and they are doused in a highly flammable material to begin with? How come they didn't go up in flames? Huh? Huh? They're green, huh? Telephone poles green? Some of you are just, there you can see again, military. Just trying to show some of the stuff I got on the feed here real quick. The suspect not charged due to lack of probable cause. The guy that they caught with the blowtorch or this big flamethrower. They let him loose, they said there. Other people tried to come back and say they were holding him on a warrant, felony warrant, but the main guy just sat there and says right here that they let him loose. Here you, as the OBS cuts out and comes back in, they go west to east as the weather does across the entire United States. Okay? So, I get that wind can blow ambers and all that. I get all these things. But again, when we find these neighborhoods that have been torched and at the bottom are, I'm going to have to come back to this one, like this, turned to ash. Look at all these trees all standing everywhere. But then we also see blue trash cans sitting at the bottom of all the driveways. And the blue does not get burned up. Well, you see here. Right here. Here it is. I had to kick this out so I could show this on the show. Look at this. You see this? You see this test here with the frequency and frequency waves, how they work? And with this laser and how it burns up all these different colors. But blue, it does not. Look at the trash cans sitting out here. Untouched. Everything else burnt, melted. But these blue plastic trash cans, which should have went up and melted easy, are not even touched. There's something to this. People better start paying attention. There's huge consistencies between Maui, between here, between the Texas, the Paradise fires, now the Palisades. Huge. When you see stuff like this, man, you cannot ignore it. All right, this should, and you wonder why, when going down to here again, you see all these trees, but hold on a second, man. People, they still want to say, but they were green, and they're not gonna. Okay, then how did the fire jump to all these places? How did it even get here if it didn't come through the trees? Mister, they're alive, they're green, and they won't burn? How? How then? Oh, you don't care about that. They want to use the brain power to figure that out, do you? You small-minded people are just, you're going to stay where you're at then like that, thinking like that. Look, there's another aspect to this that I got to throw in here that I mentioned before, and it's with the meters. Because we've seen the proof of it in the past. All the places they had the meters, and we seen all the reports of the meters catching on fire and burning places down, all the smart ones that they put out there. But, sometimes in these events, they're not always what they seem. There are arsonists out there, all right? Here's one right here that got caught. What are they doing? What are they doing? What are all these people thinking out here just trying to burn the whole place down? But you've got an arsonist that was caught here in Los Angeles. And there's footage of people throwing gas on the side of the highways. Like, it makes no sense. Like, they have to be being paid to do this, or they're just that stupid. And this isn't a bum in downtown as someone make it out to be. No, these are people that, like, clearly have they're walking around, they clearly think clearly, and they're not folded over on drugs. No, these are people out thinking things out and clearly committing crimes. There's something to it. And look at this again. Look at this. A lot of people can't get over it. Like, how is the whole freaking neighborhood gone? How is every single house reduced to ash, except for blue garbage cans sitting at the end of driveways, and all the trees still standing? Like, everywhere. Like, again, the question arises, like, how did the fire get there? And look, all the green trees around here. It had to be brought there somehow. I don't know. There's a lot of different aspects to this. I start asking some of these logical questions. And outside of the trees, the freaking telephone poles. Yeah. Look at this clip. Going on the beach. Yeah, I'm seeing the trees, even the palm trees, and all this stuff. See, there's a telephone pole right there, past, that was still standing. Here's one right here, still standing. Green trees all around it. Another pole there. There's more coming up here on the other side of this car, another telephone pole. All the wires still connected to it. Everything right there. 2 of them never burnt up in all this. More poles sticking up. I don't know if this would. I know the telephone poles are. It's these things, man. These things, man, raise questions. Oh, I might as well show this image that I shared earlier. If you haven't seen it, look at it and squint your eyes. Gonna open them back up. And let me make sure that I don't have any other ones there. All right. I think I pretty much showed everything off that. I may come back up on some of these stories in a different tab here. Another fire breaking out here tonight. This is in Los Angeles. Let me see. This is Granada Hills. This is being dubbed the Archer Fire. Okay? So I want to give some updates here on all the fires, though, so that everyone knows. The latest numbers here. Firefighters fighting 6 wildfires, as they're saying it here. This is going to be the 7th. Okay? The 2 largest are the Palisades, 20,000 acres now. Only 6% contained. The Eaton fire that I told you went from 1,000, swelled to 10,000. It's at 14,000. It's only 3% contained. This is crazy that these fires are growing this fast, this much, have already done this much damage, and they're only this much contained. Here's the breakdown, though. Palisades. They're saying as of 5 a.m. this morning, 6% contained, 20,000. The Eaton, 14,000, 3% contained. The Kenneth fire, almost 1,000 acres, it's 35% contained. Kenneth Fire, I believe, is the one. Well, hold on here. There's the Sunset Fire with 60 acres. That triggered the mandatory evacuation in the Hollywood Hills. That's the one that was up there. Sunset Fire. It looks like they may have gotten all that out because it looks like the evacuation orders were lifted. The Hearst Fire, 771 acres. They lifted those, but it's only 37% contained. Lydia Fire, 394 acres, 75% contained. And then you've got this brand new one, the Archer Fire, which is threatening homes in the Granada Hills. And you've got all these nice places getting hit.
Neighborhood out here. I'm going to bring up the map so you guys can get some of the names of the streets. You can see there are homes out here. Firefighters were actually making access to the backyard through that house right there. I'm not sure why they're using that home. Maybe there's an access way out to that park area in the background, but fire trucks are definitely here. Those helicopters doing those drops, but those flames, as soon as that wind kicks up, they really start to pop out there, but it is eating up that fuel very quickly. If there is any good news to report, it seems to be burning up that hill, even though the winds are pushing it towards those homes. But it's going to kind of run out of steam. It's going to make its way up to spots where there is no fuel. That's a big plus right now, but it's definitely an active scene. And
all right, do you hear what the man just said? The fire is going to run up to an area where there's no trees, and there's going to be no fuel. For all these, I don't know, some people are so, I don't know, out there. People can think what they think, but I guess they're never going to figure out. They can't wrap their head around the smallest, simplest stuff. They're never going to see the bigger picture here. Look at that. Whole place just burnt out before and after. Some of these places, man. Drone footage here. Devastation. Let's show this. Look at this. Looks like an apocalyptic war zone, man. Total devastation. All right, here's more information and details. The Eaton Fire, threatening to destroy critical broadcasting towers at the top of Mount Wilson. If this happens, if they cannot stop this, they're saying that this will wipe out a majority of Los Angeles's communications. And this is crazy, but it's true. These hills that sit in California. I mean, California's beautiful, and it's got these rolling hills up by the ocean and all that stuff. But up on these hills, obviously the high peaks is where you want your towers for reception. Well, they bunch them up together in these spots, and if the fire comes up here and ravages this area, man, it could take them all out. And you're talking mass communication taken out just like that. It's really a kind of an Achilles heel. When you're in war, you're trained to take out the enemy's communications like it's one of the first moves. Just remember that. And how simple it is here to just run a fire up a mountain like this and take it all out. That's what's at stake right now. And, it's LA's radio, TV, and the radar for LAX. Two-way communications are ran off this mountain. Law enforcement communications, all the local stations, and more. It's all fed off of this mountain. Imagine the importance of that. And imagine if something else was to ever happen. It was targeted in some other way. Just same end result, to take it down. Just remember this. This isn't just this city. This is going to be how most cities are set up. Remember, these areas with communication towers, they will be targets. Especially in a time of high war. You leave everybody in the dark, and that's not good. If this fire can do it, man, it's just not going to be good, guys. So I showed you the looters and the arsonist. So this has caused them, LA sheriffs, to basically say we're declaring a curfew. Turn that back down. Live one checking in, my brother, man. It's been a minute. Much love. God bless. I hope all is good, man. Thank you, my brother. Live one checking in from the West Coast. He is the one that makes the opening beat for the show, or made it. And a lot of the other beats that I play here. So much love, my brother. He's out there on the West Coast, man. Hopefully, everything's all good. I don't think he's anywhere near these fires, but yeah, much love, my brother. Always good to see you and hear from you. Curfew in motion in this area. Looting out of control. I mean, just look at this. Look at these clips, man. Dude's just rolling up in expensive houses, grabbing stuff, and just there's a blue trash can they're rolling off with. All right, listen to this.
As I was getting my whole family out, all you have in your mind is just you're in survival mode at that point. I saw men coming into our neighborhoods. Police confirmed it. She had this to say. Take a listen.
It was wild. We just started seeing all these cars pull up, doors open, and groups of men running up our street, going up to the doors of these houses. And we weren't sure what was going on. I'm thinking, are these people here to help my neighbors? I hope so. And I left, and then my husband talked to the police and said, what are those guys doing? These guys don't live here. Get them out. My next door neighbor said, his quote, there were like 100 people that came up on scooters and were trying to get into any and all houses on the street.
And did you physically see police officers stopping them?
I didn't, but it's not to say that they weren't. It was so incredibly chaotic, and I was so worried about my big family and getting them out of our old tinderbox of a house that I was just focused on them first.
Organized, big time. 100 and some guys, they were rolling up on scooters. I mean, this was heavily organized. Guys knew this, man. Targeted these areas and went in there and hit them in mass, man.
Again, just specifically, anyone found in violation of this curfew will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor offense under LA County Code Section 2.68320, and conviction may result in a fine up to $1,000 or jail time. And I'm telling you right now, I know people talk about no bail, and I've given direction that if somebody's caught doing this, they are not going to get cited and released. They're going to get booked. We are not screwing around with this. We don't want anyone taking advantage of our residents that have already been victimized.
You heard that? Thank you, Crypto King, for the coffees. Much love. Yeah, shout outs to all the purebloods. Prayers for Cali. Prayers for America. We're in crazy times, man. These fires, man, it's almost like people are helpless. It's like an attack that they can launch, and I feel like people are like helpless. It doesn't matter even if you're the rich and powerful, so to speak, you're Hollywood elite. They're targeting that area. This is like a culling. It really is. It's like cleaning up. I foresee like really high power that overlook this area, And you gotta think some of these people are like in the club. They're in the establishment. They're in the club that are in Hollywood and all this. And if someone chose to do this and you're them and you're like, hold on, man, like this is an attack and I know it, then you know that they looked through this whole area. They went house to house. They seen everyone that lived in there, every property, everything. And you're like, oh, this is so and so. And they're like, screw 'em. You know they said screw you at that point. You know that they've said screw you at this point. And they didn't care that your name was on that street. Um, this is pretty crazy. And then I already showed you guys that one. This is this is one of the residents is going nuts here. About all of it. I mean, you can't. I showed you James Woods, and he lost it. He was crying and everything else. Um, you know, millions of dollars worth of everything that they've got going up here, and I don't know. Even though some of these people got nice things here, not all of them are super super rich. And even the super rich, I'm gonna say that they're all super rich, but the rich, Hollywood rich, I told you this before. It's not ever what it seems. These lifestyles are not. Most of the times, these people don't have all of everything of what it seems. Um, as much as people would think or let on to. I told you the whole thing with the rappers and their lent cars and the house isn't even in their names and all this other crap. Um, it's craziness. But here we go.
Victims. They're doing this victims research so that number could change. Brian was forced to evacuate his home in Pasadena. And Brian, really, your area is coming into clarity now for just how much you've been through.
Yeah, Harris, I have to tell you, after seeing that press conference, I am.
Oh, great. It's not going to want to play it. I thank you, Steven, for the coffee. I appreciate it the fullest. Try it one time.
Flat out heartbroken and outraged. We are sick and tired in LA County of having liberal political leadership play Russian roulette with all of our lives. Look at that. Look at these images. This was preventable, Harris. I'm not saying it could have been stopped, but I looked on the news 3 days ago. I have a teenage daughter. You know, I'm a single parent. I've got a 9-month-old as well, with a nanny holed up in a hotel. 3 days ago, we see on the news, there are winds expected of 80 to 100 miles an hour, Harris. I looked at my teenage daughter, and I'm like, are you kidding me? That's hurricane force winds. Mm-hmm. What is our city? What is our county doing to try to help people understand what happens if these winds destroy our town and community? There was nobody on the TV out here in LA except Gavin Newsom doing his dog and pony show talking about what we're supposed to do when this happens. Nobody had done anything to remove soil and vegetation for the last year. Nobody tested the water pipes. This was not brain surgery. It was predicted. These winds were predicted. And don't believe Karen Bass when she says that an airplane with water could have saved lives in the Palisades. It's pipes. It's proper water. It's not diverting water for fish in California instead of saving human lives. You want to save human lives? Then do your job and have a plan in place. Harris, there was not an operational plan in place anywhere in LA County to help with this. And by the way, let's not just pick on Karen Bass. What about these LA County supervisors? They are powerful because I'm in LA County. Those supervisors, Harris, they show up at these press conferences after urban carnage, after kids have been murdered in LA County, and they try to tell you, oh, we're going to do this and that. What have they done to prevent it? We're sick and tired of this. It's inexcusable.
Victims, they're doing this.
Well, you can see there, that's just how people feel. The people are ticked off. They've had enough of it. Here's another aerial. all these places. So, this was a well-designed, and it seems almost even a telegraphed thing. And I'm gonna get more into that here in a second. But look at this. La Nina is here. More bad news for the wildfire plagued Southern California. Oh yeah? Yeah. They're trying to say all of a sudden the system whipped up off the coastline coming through a La Nina is going to bring the conditions that are going to persist all the way in through February and April of 2025. And that's going to set up dry conditions, windy conditions, the perfect conditions to torch the place. They're saying it has finally emerged. Okay, did you hear what that guy just said? They're all sitting at his house. And the news says we're about to have 100-mile-an-hour winds. Like, what do you do? Like, that's a weapon. To me, it's a weapon. What they're doing with this, because they're controlling all these elements of the atmosphere. They surely never do anything to try to stop it. Like, oh, we've got a weapon here that'll stop a tornado or something like that. And they can do that. They can break it up. They can break up storm systems. They sure can. They can de-energize them, and we know this. Just like we know they can fuel them. But they don't want to talk about none of it, because once you start to figure out that they can do this, then you're going to know that they can do that. And when you see that they're not doing that, but all this over here is happening, it makes the weapon more obvious. Look, HARP is very real. All that stuff is very real. Information's out there. These facilities, atmospheric, ionospheric generators or heaters, they're real. They've got them parked all over the place. Look at this picture. This is showing the target area. Man, that's SoCal. So you're talking Southern California, in the heart of that right there, targeted in this pattern, so it's not going to get any better. The winds, though, man. You control the wind. You control all this, right? And they can control the wind. And something else is these fires are fueled by the sun. If you don't know, the sun drives wind. It's just the way that it is scientifically. And during the day, even fires that you might have thought were out, the sun can, in the right conditions, they can heat an area up just right to where it is spark back up a flame. Trust me, I've had to deal with it. And, yeah. The National Guard called in. Again, we didn't see them fighting fires. We saw them stopping people from going into their homes. You should probably remember some of these things that are happening. All right, this is also cutting off the main fuel pipeline to Vegas. So anyone in Vegas, if you're out there, they say that in an abundance of caution due to the fires, the main pipeline that brings gasoline and all these other fuels and oils to the Las Vegas Valley is getting shut down temporarily. So how long that's going to last, I don't know. Because these big fires are what, 3 and 6% contained? They're not contained. So this could turn out to be a bigger disruption than what it seems right now. The fact that this pipeline is getting cut off. Again, this is a kind of a critical thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just my military mindset. When I see these things that out here, like, man, this is like critical stuff here. Like, this fire is attacking and doing all these things. It's cutting off all this stuff, and it's advantageous to a certain somebody, I'm telling you. Well, the mayor, it seems, Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, she demanded an additional $50 million in budget cuts to an already cash-strapped LA Fire Department just days before this all happened again. Just days. So at the same time, the news is sitting there telling you 100-mile-an-hour winds are coming in. She's over here saying, oh, cut the budget 50 mil. Like, what the? Like, dude, this is a setup. Like, see, these are the things as an investigator that when you see just jump out at you. Like, these are red flags all over the place. Like, you guys are busted. Like, this is a huge orchestration. And I can already see, because I've been doing this for so long, where this goes back to. It goes to the top. The hand, as it is, as I call it, of the establishment that does all this. That conjures up all these things. It's just one huge operation is what this is. Just like Maui, just like Paradise, just like all these other things that we've seen. So that right there, that plan was to shut down 16 fire stations. Remember on the last stream, I showed they took all this equipment that they had and they sent it to Ukraine. So you see clips out there on social media of firemen trying to put out fires with women's purses and luggage bags or whatever, Louis Vuittons, whatever, filling them with water, trying to put out these fires because they don't have the right equipment. This is like embarrassing. It's like scandalous. There's scandal all over it. I don't see how these people aren't torn a new one by this new administration that comes in. If they're not, it should show you right there a lot of things, but they should. Like, they should all be, but California's taking a stance like they don't care if Trump gets in there. They're doing their own thing. Blah, blah, blah. Like, wow. Just like all these sanctuary cities are. They're taking this strong stance. All the mayors are that you're not coming in here and we're not deporting anybody. We're not doing none of this. And Trump and them are like, oh, yeah, you are. You're going to jail. Dude, we're about to see some huge stuff. Like, this may even be the plan. See, Civil War was never going to work how it was initially pushed. To turn the whites against blacks or Mexicans. Like, no, we all grew up and lived together. So ain't going to work. It never worked. So what they did is they brought in imposters, illegals. And they did it this way. They flooded them in everywhere. And now they are this insurgent populace that is here to cause chaos and hell in the midst of every city. And it's because of them that are there that these strike force teams are going to come in. And it's going to create little war zones in every city, in all these places. Every little business, I told you before, it's about to get crazy. Strike teams rolling into every warehouse. Just what the military's doing. They're going to be asking for IDs, checking everybody to see if there's anyone in there that's wanted. You think they're just going to, we're not even going to go. We're not going to bother with you over there. Or not wonder who you are or anyone else is. They're going to ID everyone. This is about to get crazy. And people, I'm warning it. They don't even see it coming, but you're going to see it. Let's keep it pushing. Because this whole thing's getting exposed here. The whole plan, especially with LA here. Why was there no water in the hydrants? How can all this be? It's like a setup, a full-blown setup. When you see this many things, it's like treasonous. It's criminal. And thank you again, Lakeville, for the memberships. For everyone that gets them, welcome to the underground. This is criminal. Okay? And we've established that. This is the criminal op. So many different aspects of it that are obvious. Just these things like right here, all the water gone and depleted, trying to cut 50 million the same day that the news is calling for 100-mile-an-hour winds. Like, come on, let's take this into a courtroom. Let's just do it. This is laid all out there. Gruesome Newsom needs to go. He's nothing but a show pony. He's nothing but a face, a puppet out there, a mouthpiece for the establishment. We know it. He gets called out on this. He never can. They always just talk around things. I've seen that guy's slick. That's why he's in this position. He's a slick talker and just talks his way out of everything. And I don't know. I even feel like this right here is staged. Half these news ops.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild.
Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
It's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything.
fill the hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally have.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address
Man, this is him. This is the type of response you get from a slick politician. Why was there no water? Because the whole reservoir was empty. Again, somebody get these guys in here. This is criminal. Okay? This is criminal. There's too much of it. There's too much of it. Here is a whole nother one. A whole nother one right here. The reservoir, which was supposed to hold 117 million gallons of water, could have saved the day, was empty. Critical water source in the Pacific Palisades, empty and offline. Why? Because they said a tarp that was used to cover it had a rip in it the year before. So that was the cheap excuse to let this whole reservoir run dry. 117 million gallons would have saved the day, obviously. You know, I said it before. There should be lines running out to the ocean. You know, and they're taking the good fresh water and running it into the ocean. It's such a backward mess, what they're doing up there. It's like a setup. But this main reservoir was there so that you guys know 117 million gallons worth. And they suspiciously had it run bone dry. Yep. Sure did. So that was ordered. Somebody ordered that to be done. Okay? So when you start tracking back who called these shots, it's going to get interesting. Because it all leads back and narrows down to head honchos. Okay? Of course, they try to pin it on the mayor, the governor, as you just seen. And that's what they're getting paid to do. But it's not them. It's again, putting together these orchestrations. It's a higher power, man. Mel Gibson, pissed off, and should be, I guess. 14.5 million Malibu mansion burned to ashes. and burns to ashes while he's filming the Joe Rogan podcast. Now, this is what, I really feel like Joe Rogan and the information they pass on there, it's shilled. He is a gatekeeper, and it's information that they want dropped at specific times. If not, it's like an out of sight, out of mind thing. But it's always the topics that he's hitting on and touching on. They use to peddle all types of different stuff, time and time again. They plant seeds of certain things, right? So if you guys missed it, Joe Rogan apparently, and this proves the point right here, he was talking to some random fireman, apparently, just here recently, just within the past year, months, whatever, 6 months. And this fireman starts warning of this exact scenario, right? Of all things in the world to talk about, and the stuff going on, he brings this up, and he says that, he talks about, this and that, and he goes into all this detail. So to me, it was like telegraphing. It was planting a seed, something that they have to do. It's part of the occult black magic. When they pull off these events, they have to tell you in advance. Do you understand how it works? They have to tell you in advance. It's why it's in movies. It's why it's on Joe Rogan and dropped like it just was. It drops it into your subliminal, and it also it tells you in advance. There's rules to this game, okay? You're going to see more of this, okay? Second. Where's it at? Thought I had another one here. No, I guess if I've got one here on it, it'll be in a lineup. Oh, it's right here. Right here. Kev Barr, thank you. Hey, good point and comment. Thank you for that super chat, brother, and the support. So much. Big time. Yes, predictive programming, if you will, if you want to call it. So you remember everything I just said about the guy and the fireman on Joe Rogan, right? Predictive dropping the seed. Well, guess what? Here it is again. And guess who they used? The Gentile Messiah. Trump. Guess where he was at? He was on Joe Rogan. Again, doing the exact same thing. And of all the things in the freaking world that Donald Trump could be talking about, in the small amount of time that he was on the show, on the podcast, guess what he talks about? The California water issue and the wildfires and all of it. Oh, really? Yeah. So now we have multiple confirmations of this being telegraphed and sigil dropped all before it happened. And we have a mountain of evidence already stacking up that people knew, and they called shots to make this happen. Like to make the water hydrants go dry, the whole water reservoir go dry, all these things. They knew there was going to be 100-mile-an-hour winds, and they were calling for a $50 million cut. Get out of here. Like, guilty is charged. Bring the gavel down on them. Like, this isn't op. This is how they work, dude. This is how they work. All the signs are there. All the earmarks, fingerprints, all of it. It's all there. Okay? You see? Mention the Resnick family. They controls 94% of the public water supply in California. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Thank you, Silver Sailor. Well, comments like that. Boom. Huge. Thank you for that. Michael King. Shout out to the chat, man. Much love. Yes. Much love to everybody out there. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Trying to knock out all this information one by one. Best we can here. But you got to see these things. So this is how I'm viewing it. I'm viewing it as, wow. wow, there's a lot of just jump out right off at you, like just confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. This is without a question, without a doubt. And up. Now, Mel Gibson, like I said, he knows this. He's pissed off. And where does it go? It goes on Joe Rogan. And he's saying these things. I can't play the clip because it's unfortunately something that they will try to strike me on here on YouTube because of Rogan's show. But he thinks someone did it. He's like, he feels he's been attacked. Like someone did this on purpose. Is how he puts it. Vehicles are gone. Like everything. If you collected things, like if somebody's got a net worth, it's usually based on all the stuff that you've got. Well, everything's gone. Whole garage and all the vehicles in it. Like all of it. You see what I'm saying? And if there's been a couple guys out there throughout the years that have been, it seemed, attacked by Hollywood because of them calling Hollywood out or going against the grain, it's been Mel Gibson. He's been one of them. So this doesn't surprise me that this is happening the way that we suspect, and that he is almost another confirmation to me. And when you watch the video clip and the way he's talking, you can tell he's pissed and he's agitated, upset, all these other emotions going through him. But he flat out says, he says, I feel like this is an attack. Somebody did this on purpose, intentionally. Somebody set the fires intentionally and did this. You see? Granite, thank you for the coffees, man. Happy New Year. Much love back to you. Hope all is good on your end. Bought gold. Back, we told us, hey, good, man. I'd stay on the train. I'd buy any pullbacks on gold if you can. Gold or silver, precious metals from here. Boy, oh boy, this is, man, look at these trees and these looking half dead trees. They didn't bother burning. But you got cars again melting right next to them. This is an event. It's a land grab, you say? And blame it. Yes, Michael. Yeah. Yeah. It's setting the stage for this. This is their plan. This is the master plan. And they always do it at the World Economic Forum and Bilderberg meetings and all these big meetings. They talk about their plans for these cities. And we knew what was going on with the whole smart cities, sanctuary cities, 15-minute cities. We've talked about it before many times. And the cities that have been chosen for this. LA, one of them. But LA is one of them like New York City. It's like on another level. It's like at the top tier above all the other cities. And they plan to completely transform it. The thing is, if you look at California right now and you look at certain areas and you look at all of the places that are ran down, that are bankrupt, all those type of things, they're empty. Remember last week, right around Christmas, I showed you a huge mall that was out there, and it was a ghost town. They had decorated lights, trees, someone's walking through there, a ghost town. In the whole freaking mall, only 3 places were open. You didn't see no one. It was insane. They decimated it, the area. So you've got all these buildings in a lot of cities, but LA, that are empty. They've been abandoned. And there's no one in them. They're not being occupied. They eventually want to wipe this out. You have to. You got to find a way to wipe it all out. to reset it. You know what I'm saying? Just like the economy, it's all about to get reset, it seems. And there's a plan in the open, so that you know, to make LA by 2028. 2025, they just got a few years here on the clock to do this. But they want this whole place to have, like, delivery robots that are overseen by AI and flown out by drones. Things like that. Autonomous vehicles that are running all over the place. Smart poles. When you get into the area, it tracks all the air quality. And it does this at all the intersections. And it reports it back to a data center. Smart bus stops. All this stuff, man. You got to tap your chip to access. I'm telling you, man, this is it. These smart cities are the trap. They're going to say, oh, yeah, the chip in your card, and it's going to jump from the card to your hand real quick. You already know it. And, yeah, it's the 2028 plan. Smart LA 2028 city plan. Yep, full document. All of it's outlined right here. This is what they plan to do with it. So as you see these places getting wiped out, the Hollywood Hills or whatever, in like complete areas, all the way down to the beachfront, getting wiped out, all that's prime real estate. Someone wants it. Someone wants it for all this. It's this only signifies, you know, this fire. It may just be the beginning of more. And I mean, it only 6% contained, 3% contained. Man, this thing could keep growing and do even more damage. Anyhow, there it is. There's the LA plan exposed. Right there. Michael King, thank you. Yeah, yet another so-called conspiracy. But they're not really conspiracies when we derive this information from their meetings, when they have official websites. I mean, come on. People oftentimes call these things these conspiracies because it sounds so wild. They can't it's their problem. They're the conspiracy. They can't wrap their head around the truth. It's the problem, so they call it a conspiracy. This has been in the open the whole time. And there's never been a need to call it a conspiracy. But yet, you're right. You know, they will. They'll say it's a conspiracy just because, I don't know, they can. It doesn't work too much anymore because everything comes true. It's almost all of everything that we touch on, like this. This comes true. So here's your leader, if you want to call him that, Joe Biden, taking a cheap shot with this joke about fire. And he even says, no pun intended, to try to cover it up. But like Kamala, you could just look at her face, her reaction, like, she was cut off guard. She couldn't even believe. She even like started to laugh, but then it got all serious. It's crazy. He pops off the shot saying, fire away. When I see things like this, man, this is just like an FU to everybody.
Madam Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
All right, as the president throws it to the vice.
Yeah, she's like, starts scratching her head like, oh, like, oh, crap. Like, yeah, you guys are just gaff machines. Yeah, so that's that with the fires. Oh, here on this channel, the last video I dropped, there's more mystery objects Another big, dark, whatever you want to call it. This time it looked triangular and had like flashing lights on the tips. Very interesting. Floating around in broad daylight out in the Palisades, smoke in the fire smoke. Like, what is going on? And the orbs are all over the place. They're different. That the craft and the orbs are two different things, but they're apparently doing the same thing. They're observing the whole situation. They are. Let me keep it pushing here. Let me see where we at. 10:30. I want to touch on this whole thing out of the UK about these gangs and the grooming and how it's just now coming to light. Arm, I think for the coffee. Yes. Yeah, and you got that right. Turn that down. This guy that had one of his children victimized in this was told by the police in the UK to just let it go. This is pathetic. This is ridiculous. I feel you guys' pain over there. They need to grow a backbone and a spine. They need to stand up to a tyrannical government. Like, all of them are just sliding downhill. And they tell this guy, like, you just need to let it go, man. It's like, no, he doesn't. Like, you guys need to turn around and grow a lot of things and do something about this madness and not let it happen any longer. You know, these Muslim gangs want to rape someone, but yet if you dare talk about it, you get threatened. I don't think so. That right there should be stomped out right now, quick. It's pathetic. And look at this. Are they going to try to use the world's richest man to try to set a false example? And what do I mean by that? It's just the same thing with like Alex Jones, Big Shilly. They go in and try to tear him down, say he owes $1 billion, and attack him and try to take everything from him, which he's still in the airwaves. We still got a mansion, still got a Hellcat. He's still getting more views than ever. He's still selling product. I don't get it. But it set the precedent that if you wanted to say anything about Shandy Snook, I won't even say the name of it, they'll attack you and tear you down. And if Alex Jones can't be saved, you will never be saved. Well, here's the same kind of example. Same thing with Trump. Trump getting thrown into jail, all his felonies, being found guilty and all this. UK government investigating Elon Musk and his tweets about the Muslim pedophile gangs. So, what are you going to do? Convict him? And have it on file, have it on record? Because if they get away with convicting Elon Musk in some stupid way, go after him out of their jurisdiction for making a truthful comment about this stuff, because he just spoke the truth. They will, if they convict him, it will be unprecedented. That will mean no one could say anything about it ever, and they could come after you too. What are you going to do if the world's richest man can't escape it? Do you see? This is dangerous. So even if you know Elon's a player in the game, you know he's one of them and all that, he's playing this position, but like, you've got to root for him to win this. But that's what the shells do. They come in to play this role, and then they take the hit, they go down, and guess what? If none of them can be saved, never will you be. And it will basically be saying that none of you can sit out there and talk about any pedophile gangs or anything like that, or they're going to come after you. What does that say about them? That is showing you openly they are protecting who? Dude, we got some huge problems. Their actions speak clear on who they're trying to protect. Why? Someone needs to flip the script. here. I'm telling you, or these things could be used against us all. It's pretty much touching on that one. So here's an update on the drones, and this is a big one. I told you there's no excuse. Donald Trump should tell us what is going on with these drones as soon as he gets in there. He should. No excuses. So this is what he says. He goes to this, gives this presser at Mar-a-Lago. And I'll let him tell you here in his own words what he's going to do.
A story that kind of disappeared very suddenly. Do you have any idea whatever happened to the drones?
What happened to drones?
Well, you had said that you knew you thought the government knew what was happening with these drones over New Jersey. There were some by Bedminster.
I don't know. They're over Bedminster a lot, so I can imagine. I'm going to give you a report on drones about one day into the administration, because I think it's ridiculous that they're not telling you about what's going on with the drones. And it's not only with me. Glenn was telling me today that in Virginia they have drones all over the place, too, and nobody's reporting it. I don't know why they're not. Do you want to say something about that?
Just one quick comment, which is we are home to the largest naval base in the world in Quantico, and we house a lot of the SEAL teams and have a huge national security infrastructure. And now for 2 years running, we have had drone incursion over secure airspace, and we still don't know why. And I think that's absolutely unacceptable. And I think President Trump and the new leadership coming in, I think, will work diligently to understand who's behind this and what we do in order to stop the digital surveillance of all of our secure infrastructure.
Is it dangerous?
Well, I can tell you this. While we were dealing with a terrorist attack in New Orleans, we had drones being flown over our nuclear reactors in Louisiana. And we brought that attention to the FAA. We've been asking the FAA to give these states the ability to mitigate these drones. And it's sitting on some bureaucrat's desk. And that's real.
Nobody knows. They don't want to talk about it. Go ahead, Governor. You're going to say?
I was just going to say we have drones in Wyoming flying over our infrastructure as well. And it's incredibly frustrating that we not only have no way of knowing what it is, but nobody knows how to deal with them.
They don't want to talk about it, and nobody knows why. They don't want to talk about it. That could be us sending drones. I hope that's the case, us doing it and doing research, and maybe they don't want to talk about it from that standpoint. I hope it's not an enemy, but we're going to find out on the 21st, the day after. You have to give me a little time for the inauguration, but shortly thereafter, we'll give you a report on it. We'll tell you exactly what it is. They know, and it's very strange that they aren't talking about it.
So, I'm going to tell you that Donald Trump already knows. The majority of the base that can't accept that or whatever, it's whatever. But this man knows. There's not enough time in the day on day one to be briefed on everything in the freaking world. And then sign all the executive orders and everything. There's just no way. It's impossible. You sit there and think about it. Just the sheer amount of executive orders this man's going to be signing on this day, and they have to go through all the theatrics of the inauguration day, of getting in there, all the security, all this and that. Man, I've been there. It's a huge thing up at the inauguration, and there's so much to the process, and then the balls afterwards, all the surrounding events. Man, yeah, like. This, he knows what's going on with this. I know he does. I just know he does. I'm just not this stupid. I just know he does. Thank you, Michael. It's all suspect, but the fact that he's playing this card this way, I don't like it. I just don't like it. Only time to tell. We've got 10 days. 10 days. And the inauguration happens. And in 11 days, we should have an answer for the drones. This is going to be big. Guys, man, we're coming up on like, the energy behind this is like, it's bigger than all this stuff that's happened here recently. Like this window, this is the closing window. I'd be all hands on deck from here. From like this day forward. Big events popping off. Strange events popping off. I'm telling you, there could be something every single day up to this. And I'm going to remind everybody out there. And remember this. When it comes to evil out there on this planet, it has its holidays. It has its hierarchy. And it rules all over the place in this domain. It has a special week, satanic holiday, every week. Or this week. Every time it has something, it seems, special happen on it. I look down and 1666 are watching. Well, this is the high satanic day on January 20th. This kicks it all off. So if you got the eyes to see, you already know what this means. But if you're new to the game, realize that this is what it is. It's a high satanic window, starting on the 20th. So, I mean, it could go in high gear after he's inaugurated or that day. Much love, Solar Storm. I'm looking forward to getting an answer on some of these things. He better not deflect. He better not pull what he did like, Hillary for president and not do it. He better not do what he did with like JFK files, say release them all and then not do it. Like, So Trump went to court, if you guys don't know. They basically said no jail time. Fines and this and that, but no jail time. So he's not going to go to jail. Some were carrying on about, since he was convicted, even though it doesn't have jail time, and he's a felon, does this mean that he doesn't get they're trying to say he didn't get this presidential briefing on certain stuff, that he won't be told certain stuff because he's a felon. So I'm like, man, I didn't see anywhere else any validity behind that. If I did, I'd say so. I'd report it. But, Greenland. This isn't going away. And some people think that, you know what I feel about this? People are treating this like they're laughing it off. And thank you, Dane. Let me stop there. Dane says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world. Yes, you got that right. The jinn, as I call them. They have the spirit of the Nephilim. And it's all written right there in Enoch and all the books on what they are. There's a hierarchy, all of it. But that's for another talk. Trump talked about Space Force. And when he did, I noticed everyone started like laughing and scoffing, like, oh, this has got to be a joke. I'm like, you're some of the same freaking people that were scoffing at it and saying, when we first said Trump was going to run for president, you were like, oh, it never happened. And like all this stuff. Well, Greenland comes up. And it's like the same thing. People are like, oh, it's like, what do you mean? Like this dude's telling you something. And I done told you over and over. It's North American Union is the end game goal. And it starts here with this talk, dropping the seeds. But Greenland, the whole thing of buying it and different politicians saying different things, like they're not to be sold and won't be bought. Well, you better think again, because Trump last time was very close to sealing the deal because of strategic importance. He's been straight up about it because China is interested in this. Let me get a refresh here. My chat went down. Hold on 1 second. Everything went down. We get a refresh. All right. Everything good. 5x5s, 5x5s. Good. Just waiting on a 5x5. From you guys in the chat. Thank you, Joe. Deanne, Pixie, Jeff, everybody coming through with the 5x5. So I'm going to play this in just a small piece of this. But this is Eric Prince, basically telling you that, no, Trump and them were very close last time to securing this deal to get Greenland.
Eric, thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Sean. Nice to be here.
Well, thanks for joining us. The president made a little news this weekend. Let's just start with Greenland. He announced that he's going to pick Ken Howry as the ambassador to Denmark, but in doing so, said, hey, I would like to renew my push to take over Greenland. From a strategic standpoint, how important is Greenland to the United States?
It is an enormous amount of mineral potential. It is of significant interest to the Chinese Communist Party. And so I think what Trump had proposed last administration, was effectively a 50-50 rev share where the U.S. would take over the overhead costs because it costs Denmark tens of billions of dollars a year for the policing, security, administration of Greenland. The U.S. would take that on, but then we basically split the revenue of any mining or energy development together with Denmark. I think it's a good deal for Denmark and a good deal for the United States.
But how much of a threat does Denmark view themselves right now as potentially being under attack by the Chinese or under threat from them?
No, but it's the same CCP approach of show up with a lot of money, buy a lot of influence, and create presence forward, literally in our attic. The Canadian government doesn't do nearly as much of effective patrolling of all those waters and areas, and so as a defensive play, and as a good opportunity for the United States to maximize the reach and the economic development in our own hemisphere, it makes perfect sense.
Okay, so if you're Denmark,
and most importantly, there's some fantastic backcountry and helicopter skiing there.
I knew there'd be a silver lining. But I mean, in all honesty, I just can't imagine Denmark saying, oh, yeah, we'll give up 50% or 20% even of our sovereign territory because you guys want it.
They were almost ready to do the deal last time.
Really?
Yes. And because Denmark, I don't believe Denmark doesn't come anywhere near to the 2% that they're supposed to be spending on NATO.
Yep.
There's definitely some, and maybe it's just a false flag by the president to make Denmark spend their 2% on NATO. But it's an interesting approach, and I hope he sees it through.
Okay, so we're at the end of the year. Everybody likes to make predictions. If you had to make a prediction whether Denmark agrees to some kind of a deal, where would you put it?
Above 50%.
Holy smokes. I literally thought to myself, this was like calling Justin Trudeau governor. It was a play. I didn't realize that this was really a potential. Okay. This would be interesting.
Remember, think about they called the purchase of Alaska Seward's Folly, and it turned out to be absolutely a brilliant purchase. I think it came out to 2 or 3 cents per acre in terms of value the United States, you can imagine where would be without Alaska. So maybe in 5 years or 10 years, we'll be looking back, where would we be without Greenland?
Right, and I don't disagree with you if we wanted to buy it outright, but I think any kind of power sharing agreement or like it's a stock or a company is very different than owning something outright.
And thank you, Lakeville, for everything. I wanted to share that with you so you can see the seriousness of this, and that it's not just talk. Like there's real energy and a real idea behind this, and it's strategic. It's of strategic importance, and you can see how he described it. It's about also a business model here. Like they've got billions of dollars that they can't even afford in overhead, and he's basically saying the United States will come in and take over all that, pay for all that, but then to pay them back, they get like 50%. It's like a Shark Tank deal, basically. On a massive scale. They get back, whatever the percentage is of what they're selling. And in the end, I'll say this: in Greenland, it's almost like you want to be the strike a deal. You want to be able to strike a deal with them and be the one to strike the deal with them, because, like he said, you don't want China to come in and do it, even if it's not the best deal or blah 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 for the United States. Like, you need to make some kind of move strategically. They need to be some kind of ally in all this. But it looks like he just said, we went and we bought Alaska and all this other stuff. Like, man, like they make this deal to Greenland. Man, there's not many places left on this planet that is like vastly unexplored. Okay? And like, good luck getting down to Antarctica. Greenland is about as closest to a place as you're going to get to that's full of mystery and history. Who knows what is on this massive continent covered in ice? I say there's ancient stuff all over. And I think that Greenland is a huge mystery, and it has a lot to tell. It'd be interesting. I've scoured the whole planet on Google Earth and images and all the stuff, and that area. Years ago, I will say this, now that Greenland's on the table, years ago, it may have been 15 years ago. Oh gosh, time's flying. On Google Earth images on Greenland. I did videos on this. It might have been on my main channel, but I did videos on this. There was a huge dark spot along. It was like rectangular, very thin, dark spot that was in a region of Greenland. And man, it looked like a base or something was there, like something was there. And as the imagery changed over time and some of the features around it and all that changed, this one thing always remained the same. It was like, dude, like, like something's there. It was huge. And when you measured it on the screen, it was miles long. It was massive. It was like, dude, there is something there. Like, call it a massive ancient structure or a current structure or something's there. And I never forget that, because there was nothing like it that I could find anywhere on the planet of that size and that clear that stood out in all the different satellite imagery. So Greenland, definitely mysterious. And I guess we'll see. All right, a quick update here on the war fronts. End of an era, the Biden regime announcing this is pathetic, man. We should get reimbursed all this money. Trump should make Ukraine give us back all this money. Like, yeah, you owe us, like, he should turn the tables on them. Yeah. Hold them hostage. Be like, you're going to give us all this money back plus interest, or I'm going to call Putin and tell him just do what he wants with you. And we're going to cut off your lifeline. But Trump done said money's going to continue to flow into here after he said he would stop it. So he's done flip-flopped right there at the gate. And here Biden says this is his final $500 million that he's sending. So he's sending another $500 million. Didn't seem to be too concerned about the Palisades burning up down there or anything else, or the people in Asheville still suffering. No, man. So Trump does confirm that he's got a meeting set up with Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin expressing readiness. So, the world is a stage, theaters of war. These two guys, Putin and Trump, looking to meet, and I guess it will be pretty big because it will shape up where things go. I think effectively it has the best chance of ending the war there. If it can't be worked out between these two, talking it out, working it out at this level, then I don't know what to say. But by all accounts, it should. Seeming where it's going. Almost seems like everything is going to shift over to the Syria, Iran, or war front with Trump, more or less, and taking it out of the Ukraine neck of the woods. Carolyn, thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, prayers for sure for everyone out there that needs them. I appreciate the thoughts. And all that. It's much love, Carolyn. This here is of concern. I told you about AI earlier, and we all know AI can potentially be a bad thing. Well, China just rolled out this brand new artificial intelligence dreadnought military vessel. They say there's nothing like it that's been seen. I just want to mention it because with all the stuff going on, all these advancements, China keeps making them. They got these things now. And they can mass produce them where it can run off of AI. It can sit there and detect things. It doesn't even have to have any troops on it. It can launch a helicopter off of it, but the helicopter doesn't even have a human in it. It all be ran by AI. And all the weapons. This gets crazy. So I just wanted to point it out. They got the stealth stuff they just dropped. China's got huge advancements they've made. Thank you, Jeff. You got that right. Do not be deceived. This terror group that's banned in most Arab nations is now vowing to defeat the United States, and they're about to hold their annual meeting in Canada. Let's see what happens with this. I feel like this is just this could blow up to be something bigger. I'm telling you, we're going to see where this goes with Trump and his national emergency and all this. As this says right here, terror attacks kick off in 2025. It's only going to get worse, so you better prepare. See, I'm not the only one who thinks this. Other people see it. Writings on the wall in blood. It's begun. It has begun. In terms of these events, it's begun. That's what doing it on the first like that signified. I expect to see more of these type of things. And so do others. So I'll be reporting on them as they happen. Unfortunately, I got to say that I think that they're going to happen. But it's the world we live in. And check this out, a crazy update to the Pizzagate stuff. The guy that had showed up there that one day firing shots. At first when I saw this headline, I thought they were talking about a gunman. It killed Seth Rich. And they ID'd him finally, but he's dead. And I'm like, oh, what? And I get over here and it's this guy. It's the guy that showed up there, calling them out for the whole thing and fired shots and all that. Well, He was involved in an incident in North Carolina where the police stopped them during a traffic stop, and he pulled a gun. And they told him to drop it, and he wouldn't, and they killed him. Edgar Welch, fatally shot by North Carolina police during this event. For what it's worth. And that brings me to a close on this one tonight. 10 days. We got an interesting 10 days ahead of us. So, and things will shift. We will be entering a different window. You know, as I said before, this is a high satanic holiday on the 20th, running all that week. There's not another week like it when it comes to that. So this is special to certain somebodies. Okay? And this is when they do certain things, rituals and all this other stuff, man. It's just the way that it is. It's better to know it and be aware of it than to just be dumb to it. Know your enemy. Know how they operate and their tactics. Yeah, much love, everybody out there. Hex, all you guys, man, appreciate all the love, all the support. Everybody that hit that super chat tonight, I appreciate it. Lakeview, all the memberships that were passed out, I appreciate it all. All the coffees, man, that you guys have bought, I appreciate it more than you guys know. I do appreciate it, man. More than you guys know. Yeah. Thank you for hitting the like button, for sharing the stream, for joining us all the time. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm right here, 9 p.m. Eastern. And check my channel daily in the afternoon for videos. They don't send out notifications for much. So, do that and make sure to follow me over on X. Pretty active throughout the day there. Any breaking news, any stuff popping off, you could find it there as well. And if you need to get a hold of me, dabu7@yahoo.com. Email me anything that you need to get to me. And that brings me to the end of another one here. And, Deanne, thank you for the coffees. Pure Bloods all day. Much love. That's right. Appreciate it to the fullest, man. Guess you got a super chat. Annie, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Good to see you out there. Smokey, Steve, Honey Kitten, Clifton, all you guys. Ross in the house. Salute to my brother. Paul Walker. Man, oh man. Much love. Gang. Miss Brady's Ghost. Pixie. John. Clifton. George. Stealth Mo. All my moms, thank you for holding it down. Keep Fitzy company.